So I had the Coast Guard Auxiliary come out today, and they did a safety inspection on Lugnut. So this is Mr. Reader here is going to tell you about what we did today.
Hey everybody, I'm Jarrett Reader with Coast Guard Auxiliary, Flotilla 2604. I'm a vessel examiner. Came out today, did a vessel safety check on Lugnut here. Kind of the things we look for. Number one, we look for a registration card, kind of to make sure all the numbers of the boat match up with the insurance card and the registration card. Kind of get some details from that, seeing what it's powered by, gas, diesel, sail, how long it is, where it's registered at, so which county it is in, and who it's owned by. We also looked at display of numbers. This boat, since it is registered through the Coast Guard, got a Coast Guard inspection, does not require the display of numbers, so that was non-applicable. However, all the registration numbers and the documentation lined up. We also take a look at the flotation devices, so life jackets, throwables, make sure all the padding is kind of intact still, no rips, no tears in the material, in the flotation material, just to make sure they still work, because in a dire situation of needing a life jacket, you want to make sure it works. We look at visual distress signals on inland lakes, like Lake Norman, Lake Hickory, Baden Lake, all those around us. Inland distress signals are not required. Those are like your flares, your flags, your daytime signals. However, going out onto the coast, where Lugnut's going on their adventure, you need to have those flares and stuff, just in case something bad were to ever happen. We look at fire extinguishers, obviously. Each boat, depending on length, has to have a certain number of fire extinguishers on board. Due to this boat being a cabin cruiser and having more than 16 feet in length, it has to have 2 or more fire extinguishers on board. I believe there are 3 on board here. They are all within date, well in the green zone, so they are ready to be used. We recommend from the Coast Guard Auxiliary that after 10 years of the manufacture date, you replace it to get new ones, so that you know it is the best product available to use and you can rely on it. We look at ventilation and backfire flame control. Due to the fact that this boat has an outboard engine, we don't have to necessarily worry about ventilation from an inboard motor or having that backfire flame control. Everything kind of is open to the environment, and it's easily released into the environment. We want to make sure there's sound producing devices, so a horn works perfectly fine. It does make noise. I did test it. Always good to have a secondary device like a whistle or a megaphone, just in case the horn doesn't work and you need other means of communicating with people. We look at navigation lights, so on every boat that's power driven, sail driven, you name it, needs to have some kind of navigation lights. This one has a red and green up front on the bow, plus a all-around white light on the top of the boat, which all work. We also look at pollution placards and MARPL trash placards, pretty much just placards saying what you can and can't dump into the ocean and into the lakes, like trash and plastics and oil, kind of saying go find a professional vendor who you can get rid of the trash and everything easily without doing anything illegal. We look at marine sanitation devices, so this vessel does have a bathroom, and all that waste that gets put into the bathroom needs to be properly disposed of, not just dumped out into the lake, polluting the waters. So you want to make sure you have contacts with someone who can dump it for you properly. We always like to have our boaters know the aids to navigation and all the navigation rules for the state, local, and federal waterways and laws. So kind of going along the lines of knowing what you can and can't dump, staying out of danger areas, knowing the right-of-way for standalone vessels and power-driven vessels. Pretty much all the rules of the road, knowing where you can and can't go, how fast to go in certain places, and just ultimately to be safe. Right now, Lugnut, is that right? Lugnut,
yeah.
My apologies. Lugnut's currently being renovated and worked on. but we like to see a deck free of hazards. By the time the trip is underway, deck will be nice and clean, everything will be ready to go. We like to see that the electrical and the fuel systems work, as long as heating systems. You don't want to be on a trip and all of a sudden your systems aren't working, then you have a problem. We also like seeing engine cutoff switches. So those are the red lanyards that are attached to the engine cutoff switch. Most boats that are open, we like it if you're wearing it as much as possible, so that in case you fall overboard while the boat is on, the engine will cut off and it won't drift away from you. Now, due to this being a cabin boat, it's not unlikely that that won't happen, but definitely less likely. So you don't need to wear the engine cutoff switch the whole time you're inside, but it's just a safety feature. Some recommended items that I went over while inspecting the vessel was the marine radio. It's always good to have communication with anybody whenever you need it. Channel 16 especially, for like the emergency channel, in case you really need help. I hope it doesn't come to that, but you always have to have a radio for communication. Dewatering devices, like bilge pumps. There are 3 on this boat. They do work manually, not automatically. And also like any type of 5-gallon bucket, or really honestly an 8-ounce cup, anything that can hold water and empty it from the boat in case you start taking on water. We talked about the anchor line and everything. It is a windlass, does work. It's in good condition. And first aid kits, always good to have first aid kits. You never know when you might need a bandage or anything more. The capacity plate is definitely very important. The capacity for this boat is 8 people. You could try to put more than 8 people on it, but definitely don't do that. Follow what the placard says. Always have less. We also went over kind of the carbon monoxide detector, since it is a cabin boat. Has one, it does work. Fuel management, I was told by Mr. Ludlow he's adding another gas tank, so he has longer time out on the water, but kind of going along that, 1/3 of your gas total is for going out, 1/3 of it is for coming back, and then 1/3 in reserve in case anything happens and you need to stay out longer. We also went over float plans, so whenever going out on the water, always make sure you let someone know where you're going, just in case something happens and they need to know where you're at. They know how to find you and kind of what your float trip looks like. And then always try to be careful, try to be safe. I know being out on the water, sometimes you want to break rules and have fun in your own way, but I promise if you're safe, you can also have fun. So we come out here just to make sure everything on the boat looks up to date and in good use, just to make sure that in a bad situation, the items you need to get out of that bad situation are actually there to help you. So.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming and checking out my boat today.
Of course.
Thank you for what you do.